Welcome to Toffee TV. Everton have signed Dwight McNeil from Burnley, a player that for some reason we've been continually linked with for the last 2 years. And it's finally happened. We've signed him.
We have.
How whelmed are you on a scale of whelmed?
Well, yeah. Whelmed.
Just on the whelm.
Full well.
Okay.
No, listen, Everton have been linked with him for a while. I think Marcel Brands was a big fan of him. Last year, Everton, I think, made a tentative inquiry and were told 35 million, which was obviously way above any money we could afford anyway, but way above what I think he's worth as well. And Burnley have been relegated, and this time Everton have gone back for him. So, we've got the deal done. And he can play a few positions, which will probably help Frank Lampard, and we've moved to bring him in. He's at a good age, 22, so obviously Everton looking in that younger age bracket, but nice left foot on him as well, and hopefully he'll provide some delivery, some service for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who Everton seem to be doubling down on this season, and rightly so. We haven't got anybody else who's a goal scorer right now, so give him the right service, and if you do that, Dominic's proved he can score goals.
Yeah, it's another left footer, of course. We just brought one in, now we brought another one in. So it does give us that balance. It was a team that was desperately missing out on left footers, and you look at things like set pieces and that. It's something that would been massively needed. Since set pieces since Dean left. Yeah, it's one of those where when you first heard it, you were like, certainly I was, yeah, really. Not much has changed on that front from me personally. It's one I'm just a little bit, can't quite get my head round it. But I suppose, you mentioned the age, the balance, playing a couple of different positions. I'm trying to think of positives.
You could see him playing off the right-hand side, though.
No, you could. I could see him playing on the right-hand side with having the wing-backs. And I suppose he's, as a fan, you look at his numbers from last season in terms of goals and assists, and they're not great. We know that he scored the season before at Goodison. It was a great goal, obviously, behind closed doors goal. But he's not someone. I think when he first came into the Burnley team, there was a lot of excitement about him. There was a play. He was like, because he was out of the mould of what Burnley were. You had a very much workman team, and he was just that little bit of sprinkling when he came in. I don't really think he's kicked on too much since then.
But is that might that be as a product of his environment, because he's in a, like you said, Burnley under Sean Dyche, very workman-like team. He does work hard, that's one thing that I would say about him. But that opportunity to display his talents haven't quite been able to thrive, because they did become very formulaic, didn't he? And this is the way we do things, and he was shoved off onto the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really been able to grow, maybe.
Maybe. If you're looking for
glass half full
positives, or you're looking for the reasons why maybe the numbers aren't there, that might be the case. His style of play might have just been, alien from what Burnley wanted, and we'll wait and see. Now we'll get that. We'll see if we get the benefit of that. Him being able to carry the ball and put balls into the box. It does surprise me he didn't get more assists, considering his crossing ability and the kind of players Burnley have. But then Burnley didn't score loads of goals, so I think it'll be interesting to see how we use him and the style we play, and if it does go hand in hand in what he does. As I said, when he first came to that Burnley team, he did really stand out because he was different from the rest. But things maybe have just got away from him a little bit in terms of the way he wants to play. So that'll be an interesting thing to...
I think he's, by all accounts, he's a good character. He works hard, he's down to earth and gets stuck in and all that. So Frank Lampard's trying to bring that kind of mentality into Everton's dressing room. Young players prepared to work hard, come in, training every day, be on it. Then maybe he's adding into that. And Everton have kept this relatively quiet, haven't they? This move, there's been a lot of noise about other players, and McNeil, for once, this wasn't, you know, loud. Everton have been able to get the deal done relatively quickly. It's, like you said, it's a young, hungry footballer who Frank Lampard can integrate into that squad and gives us that balance, like you said, another left footer. We've had a dearth of them, haven't we, in the Everton side. So we saw what James could do on that right-hand side as a left-footer player. I'm not putting him in that same breath. I just mean the left foot off the right-hand side. You know, and when they're on it and they come inside, he can cause issues for very similar to what we see off the right-hand side. Cause problems when you come in field, and maybe he'll give Everton that little bit of balance off that side, or maybe Frank Lampard, because I know Burnley used him sometimes last season in a more central position of 3, so he can, as almost like an 8 at times, so he can play there as well. So if he gives the squad that option of playing in 2 or 3 positions, I know you never want to be that player that can do 2 or 3 jobs. You want to hold down one position, but it means that the manager's covered in a few different areas.
Yeah, you say that. I mean, that's not in terms of those positions, though, are all very similar, aren't they? It's just moving along the line as such. So it's not. I don't see that as a massive problem. If he can play central or he can play left or right, then that's good for him. For us, in terms of him playing, I don't see that being a massive problem. It's not like shifting from full back to centre back or full back to centre midfield, you know, and not holding down a position. I think if you're one of those 3 positions, I think, you know, you're going to play, and I don't think the job is too much different. It's just one along. So it will be interesting. I say, if we play with wing backs and he plays more on the right, inside right kind of position, cutting in on his left foot, then that might be because that's not. I wouldn't have thought that was typical of what Burnley did with having a more rigid 4-4-2 system. Yeah. That wouldn't be more typical of players cutting inside, and so it'll be interesting. It would be interesting to see how they use him, you know, and what Frank Lampard sees for him.
One thing we should do is we have mentioned the fact that he had 38 games and got 1 assist, but there's a counter argument to that. Let's just have a look here. So 38 appearances, 1 assist, but he did create 47 chances, which was more than any Everton player. I think it's more than most of the Everton players put together. And he was in the top 25 for chance makers in the Premier League last season.
That's a good stat.
So he did create opportunities. Burnley, like you said, didn't score many goals, so that could be down to the likes of Weghorst missing sitters, or Ashley Barnes, or whoever. And you would like to think that Dominic Calvert-Lewin would take some of those chances, and others, Delhi maybe, and people like that.
I do think that would be the main stat that would have been taken into consideration when they were looking at him. You know, if you've got a centre forward like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and you know that if you put balls in the right areas, then he'll inadvertently find the back of the net. You know, he is whatever anyone thinks of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's a 6-yard box player. He's a centre forward. He's someone who loves heading the ball. If you can put the ball in those areas for him, you can make that many chances for him, then he will score goals. So if that happens and this lad, you know, starts finding he's putting the assist in, then he will be worth what we're paying for him. And then you add that to his versatility, then it's, you know, it might end up being a good signing. Right now, it doesn't necessarily look like a good signing because we tend to look at the goals and the assist, and we don't normally look at that kind of thing.
I think when you're looking at signing plays, you're looking at dynamic pace and all that. But also, I think people will question it just right now because there's other areas that we still look and go, well, we haven't added any more goals to the team because he doesn't score goals. We haven't added that number 6 in the central area that we're all crying out for. We haven't added another striker who gets goals. So that's why it'll be looked on negatively. I think if Everton had got the number 6 in and Everton had got another striker in, and then they went and got Dwight McNeil, people might go, well, all right, it adds to what we've got here. But just right now, and again, this might be something that we'll only know at the end of the transfer window, how it all fits together. And how it all fits together if Everton finish that window with an Armando Brozier as another striker and a Garner or someone else as a midfield player or whatever, we might look back on it and go, actually, yeah, it decent window, that, because it got us this and it got us that. And Dwight McNeil might be looked upon as a good signing in that aspect, and especially if he's putting the right deliveries into Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We know how good Dom is if you give him the right ball. We've seen it with Luca Dean, we've seen it with James. Give him Gylfi, Sigurdsson, give him the right service, he will put the ball in the back of the net. He's done it consistently. It's only last season injuries, you know, scuppered that. And McNeil may be the one to be able to unlock that again. So
yeah, we'll wait and see. As you said, he makes, if he's making that many chances, he's making more chances. Well. He's making more chances than Everton players did last season. And obviously, you know, the fee is going to be, I imagine from what we've heard so far during the summer when we've been going for players, the fee is going to be relatively small up front, you know, and then paid in instalments.
Yeah, of course.
And hopefully that leaves enough room for, when, you know, when then the other bits come in, or the one sort of big shiny player that we're after, that we will have enough room to go and get that player. So we'll have to wait. There is a definite wait and see on this one. I can't honestly sit here saying I'm dead excited to have him at Everton, but listen, the manager, Kevin Felwell, identified them, think he's the right profile, then we'll wait and see. You know, you do or die by signings. Recruitment is the key for Everton. It's been the killer in the last few years, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes along.
He pulls a blue shirt on, we get behind him, and hopefully he'll be a fantastic signing, and we can sit back and go, you know, what a great signing that was. That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, there you go. So let us know your thoughts in the comments on this signing. Tell us how you feel about it. There you go. Make sure to give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more great videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premier. The link is in the description and it'll be on the screen in a minute. See you later.